Hello, welcome to Trudograd. So I'll mention a lot of things and a lot of tips. First of all, how to import your character from Atom RPG, and then some tips what you should do before you import your character into Trudograd, and then something about the stats, the builds, the normal stuff. I actually had a very good build for Atom RPG, and we'll try to make another one even better for Trudograd. And after we do the build, we'll just have to look at the abilities, because that's also a lot of fun, and also the distinctions or the perks are super fun as well. So one of the main requirements for you to be able to import your character from Atom RPG is to not have any mods active. As you can see, I have Phenomenon, which is a great mod for Atom RPG. You can try it. It's kind of... I'm not sure if it's finished or not, but it's kind of interesting. So no mods. You also have to be in the Mycelium bunker. That's the last part of the game. And you might be in the Dead City, because they added a lot of stuff to the Dead City after the game was completed. So you have to be here in Mycelium bunker. To get into Mycelium bunker, well, it's in the... Okay. We have to... I'll show you how to enter it, because I didn't think about this. But in case you forgot where it is... I cannot show you because the elevator is not available anymore. So let me see, kind of like a save before we get over here. Okay, this will have to do. I guess people not really remember where the bunker is. And I should do a better video. Okay, let's do a better job with the video then. I'm not sure where I am, but again, there's not a lot of options anyway. The loading can be a little weird sometimes because you're going to be loading a lot of data. I think I played about 280 hours of Atom RPG. So to get to the Mycelium bunker, you have to go to KPZ, which is Krasno Znameni. Pew pew pew. A lot of missiles and a lot of nuclear explosions. I don't know why the game loads so slow. Okay. This brings back a lot of memories. This is my mileage on the car. That's actually a lot of places I went to, a lot of times. Walk past them. Now, let's just say that Atom RPG is probably a lot longer than Trudograd, but it's also not as sophisticated as Trudograd. Trudograd actually has a lot more mechanics and a lot more interesting mechanics, plus the way you gain experience is more interesting because you're already high level, so yeah, they had to improvise. So KPZ. Go straight north. Wait again for the loading screen to finish. By the way, this wolf looks weird. It looks like it only has 2 legs. It's a T-Rex wolf or a wolf T-Rex. That sounds nice actually. And over here is the Mycelium bunker, the Mycelium complex. Krasno Znameni, second map, this thing over here. Interact with this guy, choose whatever you want to choose, then go inside. Now, as I mentioned, you will need the bunker codes, which is kind of bad because you might have forgotten where they are. I don't think the codes will be the same, but I'll show them regardless. So, code number... Okay, this is number 1 for the first door, and this was for the second door for me. Other than that, remember, you need a lot of stuff to actually kill the enemies before we reach this place. And if you want to actually kill the Mycelium leader and all of that stuff, well, you'll need a lot of buffs. Remember, you cannot buy the BS12, the combat Steam anymore. I don't think it will never show up in the Paragon merchants. I checked for more than 1 hour, never showed up. You can only find it in certain locations. I think you can buy it from a few characters a few times, and that's kind of it. So remember, you can use Meldonium. Probably you will have some painkillers as well. Painkillers will appear at the doctor in the clinic in KPZ. And then the onions, the condensed milk, and the pizza maybe? The pizza is also useful. And that's kind of it. So you remember to use those bars. But before you actually decide what you want to do, you can use a little exploit. For example, you can come over here, join the mycelium, and then kill Fidel. You have to kill Fidel if you join mycelium, and if you kill Fidel, you'll get a ton of experience. You see Fidel. I got 47,000 experience, so that's 4, 7 and 3 zeros. That was enough to get me from level 21 to level 25. It was a fun thing. Sorry, I'm kind of prolonging this, but I just want to make sure no one has any questions. So this is the final room, the final boss room. So we have solved the encounter by joining the mycelium. If you go over here, it will show you the endgame screen where you actually will go outside and it will kind of tell you what you did and how you did. Also, let me see what the addicted does. By taking more drugs. Belly full doping effect. Doesn't say what the bad stuff is. Maybe they will appear later. Okay, exit to menu, and then we can play Trudograd. Now, there are some problems with Trudograd and Atom RPG being online at the same time, so I chose to close Trudograd while I'm playing Atom RPG because it caused a very weird bug, where basically the game looked like it was, I don't know, it was made in pixel art. It looked like it was washed with acid. Now you'll get the same messages as I explained from over here. Click new game, import save file, no mods. It's in the final room of Atom RPG. In the final room after the confrontation. As you can see, we have two options, one where we are level 21 and one where we are level 25. Also, a big note, take Zulbar with you in the final room. Take Zulbar with you and you'll get a very nice surprise when you start the game. And TV. Now, as a little note over here. Oh, looks like I'm still addicted. Okay, let's take the Deadly Dock off and the Doom guy off. The addicted is kind of a bad thing. Now, let's go over slowly. Now, you'll start with all of your stats at 1. It's a lot easier to just make your character like this. Besides, you'll get even more stat boosts. So stat wise, well, as you can see, you get the 1 plus dexterity from the angel wings tattoo, because I guess you never lose the tattoo, it's still on you, so it's plus 1 dexterity, so that's a very important thing to have. I've actually linked the video where I actually get the tattoo in the comment section, so yeah, that's one thing you want to do before you import your character. Other than that, we'll play like the same way. Remember, dexterity is for dodge and action points, 10. Intellect for skill points per level. Attention. Well, attention is pretty good for sequence, but also ranged combat. Ranged combat is important because you will be able to hit stuff from very far away or from a very long distance. Now, we still have some points left. Well, we'll play with personality 6, because in Atom RPG I played with a very low personality score and I wasn't too happy about it, but hey, we can do better. Endurance should be at least 4, and strength 3. Will not fight in melee. Now, all of these distinctions, all of these perks, and all of the stat bonuses you can get from the skills, plus the abilities, can make the game very, very interesting. So first of all, play the game the way you want it to play. But think about if you want to level your character up more than this, or if this is the final level. You can actually finish the game pretty easy if you just craft yourself a sniper rifle and just finish the game normally. So yeah, the game is not that hard per se. So I'll speak about each of the distinctions a little bit, and then I'll show you what I choose. Destructive Diplomat. Of course, diplomacy is nice, but the drawbacks are minus influence, minus dodge, and minus strength, which kind of gives you 2 points, 2 stat points, which is not so important. I guess if you want to talk with everyone and convince them you're a nice guy, it works. Deadly Dog. This is actually the most fun you can have with Deadly Dog, and probably Retrograde or Lone Genius. No, Lone Genius and Deadly Dog. This is kind of like the best combination you can have. Of course, you'll have some bad luck and you will have some problems with it, but overall it's kind of like the more fun one. Addiction can be bad, but you have increased critical chance and plus 2 intellect. Timid Theoretician. Start to level fear speeds. Again, that's super important because crafting in Atom RPG, and as well as in this game, is super strong. You can basically get endgame weapons in the first hour of gameplay. You can buy the junk you need to craft it from the vendors and just craft it. Very fun to play like this, but again, not a lot of stat boost, so it's not so good in the long run. Big Bone, super useful. Big Bone is actually very good with any melee build like the Bloodthirsty Ogre or Sensei. Or you can choose this if you're not sure of what to do, but the minus dodge is kind of annoying because armor will protect you, but you'll still get hit all the time. Trickster, this one is kind of nice, but you will have that carry weight penalty, which will kind of make you do a lot of busy work of going to the merchants, of selling stuff or dropping stuff or not picking everything up and so on. But the dexterity bonus is nice. And the game kind of encourages you to play stealth, lockpick and pickpocket anyway, so if that's your thing you can have it. Pack Leader. This is basically every follower gets dexterity and endurance. +1. This is kind of like the Mountain Blade way to play the game, with companions actually being stronger and you are actually kind of like a very effective squad. This is to play alone. This one is very, very nice because you get free stat points and also carry weight. We're loner. I don't really understand how this is good or not, but I don't really recommend it. It's probably the worst perk because it doesn't give you anything specific and it takes away your carry weight and your sequence, which is very bad. Natural Born Killer. Of course, one of the better ones, as always. You'll also have Speechcraft Barter. The only problems are this will decrease your strength by 1, your sequence, your carry weight, and also your weapon skill. So I guess this is a very good one. Natural Born Trader. I said Killer, I think. It's a very good one if you just want to talk to people a little more and have some more fun. Can go very well with the Haunted Individual. God's Mistake. This is actually the one I'll pick because it's so funny. I don't know how you can play like this. I don't even know what it means. But it's like the bloody mess from Fallout, and as you can see, the more your opponent messes up in astonishing and baffling ways. But you'll also make those mistakes, so it will be fun. But endurance +2. Bloodthirsty Ogre, it will scare enemies away. But you'll also get attacked more. You also gather meat from people you murder. Sexy Beast, again for the more diplomat stuff. Personality and diplomat go together, kind of fun. Lone Genius, like I said, this is one of the best perks in the game in case you want to finish the game without leveling up. So if you want to finish the game fast, without too much of a hassle, just pick this one. Because it will not really matter, you will not level up a lot of times anyway. Roy Rampage, melee. Nothing more to say, just great in melee. Also the steams will be better. Retrograde. This is one of the more safer perks. Technology and crafting will not be that useful anyway, so you can basically take Retrograde and Lone Genius, which will give you a lot of stat points. 6 stat points that are actually very useful for you and they will not give you anything bad. Now, I'll not pick this one because again, I want to showcase a lot of the game. I want to show basically every part of the game, so that will be kind of bad for us. Freedom Lover, not so bad, not so good. Critical attack chance and the other stuff is pretty nice as well. I mean, look at your sequence, you'll start off before any enemy does, so that's why it's so it seems bad, but it's not that bad because you get the crit chance. And well, for example, let me show you this. How bad is it right now? 15% crit chance. No, it's not that bad anymore, right? Besides, you can increase your critical chance by other ways as well. Lucky bastard, in case you want to play with gambling and some other stuff, very interesting to play as, but again, not for me. Wacky Woodsman. Monsters and animals will have very nice stuff to give you, but you'll have minus personality. Keep in mind, some bigger enemies will also be monsters, so we'll play with Doom Guy with 1 luck because it will increase our crit chance to 5, which is super important. It will lower our sequence, but that's not so important. 12% to hit with aim shot, and also a chance to cause a critical state when shooting limbs. So what are those critical states? If you shoot the leg, you'll knock your opponents down or knock down. If you shoot the arms, you might disarm them. So yeah, those are pretty interesting as well. So it actually goes very nicely with our build. Also give us 2 attention points, which are kind of nice. It will allow us to have 4 strength and 5 endurance, and the other one will be God's Mistake. So we'll basically play like this: God's Mistake, Doom Guy, 5, 6, 10, 10, 6. Remember, you can increase your personality through other means as well, so I still hope they have the colon and the other thing to increase your charisma, and I hope it still stacks your personality, I mean. Now, as for these ones, well, they can go up to 300, so that means if you have 200, that's 2/3 of the way. If it's 100, that means it's, well, 200 means 2/3, or just that you are very close to being the best one. We also have these weird bonuses, which sometimes are distinct, sometimes they're not distinct. For example, for gambling, it's quite obvious, more money, but for stealth, experience, lockpick experience, technology experience, crafting is another unique one. So they actually changed this because they had, well, I guess there is no other way to give them bonuses for this except getting more experience, which is kind of bad because, well, just think of it as this: sometimes the skill will not have good bonuses because the skill itself is super good. For example, pickpocket doesn't have any good skill gains because it's so good on its own as well. Then getting 200 more experience is kind of nice. We'll go automatic rifles and shotguns, which will give us more experience for killing enemies, and it will allow us to use the stocks of the weapons to hit enemies in melee, plus a chance to ignore armor, and more experience, and then more damage at 215. It's up to you if you want to spec up in more weapons or if you just want to use one weapon. Actually use more weapons. Remember, the weapons still have that minimum requirement. So for example, the Makarov pistol, it will be 70 pistols and SMG skill to use it efficiently. But that's not such a big debuff anyway, so I guess it's really up to you. Barter, as you can see, it's 150 because trader stock variation means you'll get access to a lot more items a lot more faster. So for the sake of the gameplay, this will be very nice. The other bonuses are not so good, but selling 1 point for every 50 ruble, that's kind of like a nice thing because you can get a lot of experience this way just by, you know, buying stuff and selling stuff. Kind of funny that the trader character is actually possible in this game. Crafting is also super important. Level 3 recipes are kind of like in-game weapons that you can have in the first hours of the game. Super useful, super nice. But I'll go with rifles and shotguns. Speechcraft will be at 200. Like I said, this will have its own effects, its own skill checks, and the bonuses are just kind of extra stuff. So if I'll do any attention checks, I'll actually have 11 attention. Pulse personality is raised by 1 in dialogue, so that means I have actually 7 personality for dialogue purposes. And the rest of the 24 points, well, I'm not sure. You can also make strength lower, but I guess that's more than enough. Also keep in mind, Speechcraft will give you 1 personality at 300 points, which is a great thing to have at that point. 1 more stat point as well, so yeah. As for the other ones, I recommend you leave them as they are because remember, survival will actually get you faster traveling on the global map, will make you encounter better encounters, yeah. and find interesting spots, avoid combat, and makes your journey faster. So, even though you might think the bonuses are kind of weak, it's still a very good one to take. Especially because the third one, travel speed on location, is super useful. Now as for the stealth, lockpicking, I'll just show you, see that's only experience. Crafting can be nice because you will get more experience by crafting and you can unlock some recipes as well. We'll just leave this at 50. I want to play with some of the custom weapons, even though they can be bad. Remember, we have a huge customization option in the game for guns. First stealth is very nice to have because, well, more healing and more experience of negative effects of stimulants. Well, I guess you can level it up to 150 and that will be great. Doubles all positive effects of BSF 12 and morphine. Oh, that will be so nice to have. I'm not sure I'll have it. Most of the weapons do the same thing. More experience and more damage anyway. Yeah, this is more than enough, I think. I guess I can take all of the barter away and put it into speechcraft so I can get that extra personality point, but again, I think that's more than enough and I don't want to kind of break the game. Otherwise I can just play for a few more hours and get to level 30 or more and then just come back here and import my game again. It's all up to you, but I don't want to cheese the game too much. Let's have those nice and orderly like that. I don't think I'll ever use martial arts. Pistols and SMG are actually quite good in the game, but 55 is not going to be not even close to what you need to have. For the rest of the points, well, I guess could put it in speechcraft so we get one more personality later on. I don't think combat will be a problem for us, so let's put it just in speechcraft because I want to be able to pass all of the dialogue choices, all of the dialogue skill checks. Now abilities, this is another important thing in the game and you actually need 3 of them to actually be useful, so 75 points. And remember, if you take the other one, you might actually have less points. Let me see. No, you still have the same points, but you will have a harder time getting to the places you need. So about this, first of all, do you need crafting? Yes, crafting is actually misleading when you first read about it. It's more like an intelligence stat. 1 skill point for every level, which will be super important. 10% discount on trading. Again, this is kind of like the same way I played Atom RPG. Yeah, it might seem very little, but it does add over time. And over here, gain double the skills from books. Otherwise, you can take the right priorities. Firearms Academy. Let me just quickly mouse over these ones. Crafted weapons and crossbows. And they no longer jump. This is actually a huge bonus to your crafted weapons. So if you want to play with crafted weapons, take this one. You'll have a very fun time. As for these ones, best of the class. 3 skill points and 1 ability point each time you gain a level. That's extra. Ability points are these ones. Also over here, effective training to get 20% more experience. It will actually cancel that other thing. If you choose Law Engineers, it will cancel that debuff almost entirely. It's also pretty fun to play with it. Let's pick some of the combat ones as well. I'll be mostly playing with rifles, 10% piercing. Monsters for double damage. Well, I think I will take this one. Aim shot damage from shotguns and rifle, 10%. And over here it will be the chance to deal critical damage when aiming. Again, this is your level. I'm level 25, so that's for 13% more. Over here, Manhunter, Panic Master, Extreme Prejudice. Eagle Eye, chance to deal critical damage when aiming with scopes, eyes and for the head. If you aim with a weapon that has a scope for the eyes or the head, you get a 30% chance to deal critical damage. And that's probably the one that I will take. Proletarian with the shotgun, that's also important. Or fun at least. No automatics, no automatics, but they can also be super powerful as well. Just quickly mouse over in case you want to look at them. Pistols and SMGs. The pistols and oh, they are super cool. Cat's eye. I really want to play with a pistol and a shield. That will be so much fun. Less spread. Let's reload. Can be very good. Remember, you can craft a pistol that has only one shot and does a lot of damage, and with a minus action point to reloading, you can actually do some really strong stuff. Remember, some of the pistols are crazy with this thing. Quick draw. All attacks cost -1 points. If the base cost of a regular pistol shot or short burst of SMG is 4 or more. Actually, they nerfed this quite a lot. I don't like that one now. Also, we're going to survival because we also need the survival skills. Healing bonus, no. Always take plot armor because if you're going to get knocked down, you'll kind of be in a very, very bad situation. So take that one. Over here, probably the oaken skin, but I'm not sure if this stacks with the armor or not, the power armor. I'll just take deep pockets for the bonus health and for the carry weight. We'll have a lot of carrying to do. Over here, probably Juggernaut will be the best choice, but I'll just go for Monster Lore Expert, only for gameplay reasons. So I'll just pick this because I'm recording the game, so otherwise pick something that you will find more useful than this one. Now over here we have Shield Master and Shield Bearer. These two will make shields so much stronger, plus with the pistol and SMG upgrades, you can get some crazy builds working for you. In a reserve, so this will give you 1 action point and also more health points. You are mine. So we have crafting, rifle and shotguns. And survival. Why? Weird. I think last time I played I had less points available to me, or I don't know what happened over here. So do I want to go for more crafting? Yeah, more chances to find rare or valuable items. Manhunter. I guess shooting someone at point blank is also pretty fun. It'd be very gruesome. Other than that, I don't think I want anything else from survival. Maybe you want Praetorian, but you'll get this much later in the game, so it will not be that important anyway. Two times when using mask helmets or armors, no longer reduce characteristics, so that's also an important one. I'll probably pick Praetorian later, as you can see he's wearing 3 helmets. So you can leave your points like this because they'll not be wasted. You'll actually still have them when you start the game. So I did everything. That was quite a long one. So for the recap, this is like that, this is like that. As for the difficulty, I really recommend you play on expert. If you play on anything lower, the game will be too easy, especially if you are above level 15, as the game is intended to be played. We'll play on expert. We'll not play on survival because it's basically the same thing, but it can be devastating to lose your character. So let's stick to expert. Also, we have 167 health, that's a lot. I hope I didn't forget anything. That was a long conversation.
Attention, Major. Everything you are about to hear is highly classified. We choose you for this briefing due to your activities in the Central Wastes 2 years ago. The information about the asteroid you delivered upon return from Krasnoznamenny greatly agitated the Central Command. Our science teams did not reach a solid conclusion, but all of them agreed that the potential impact of the asteroid would be devastating to all life in the wastes. This is why Central Command organized a special research group with the goals of studying the nature of the problem and finding possible solutions. For the last 1.5 years, the best minds of Atom worked on this problem. Now it seems that, despite the current state of science and technology in the wastes, a solution has been reached. East of the Central Waste and our base of operations, there is a city called Trudograd. Once it was home to a special strategic manufacturing facility, the Inverter Factory, which was ran by a certain Professor Goryachov. As you know, Trudograd survived the war much better than most cities and towns of our motherland. Thus, it is possible that the facility still stands or even operates protected by the city walls. This facility is very important to our cause. Before the war, it was used to manufacture an experimental electromagnetic propulsion device, the RR-1 railgun. According to top-secret documents we uncovered during our research, this invention of Professor Goryachov was able to deliver special polymer-based projectiles straight into Earth's orbit, or even further into outer space at tremendous speeds. If this information can be trusted, this device might just happen to be humanity's sole chance at destroying the asteroid before impact. Your mission is to venture into Trudograd, find Professor Goryachov and scout out the inverter facility for any traces of the RR-1 railgun. If the propulsion device will be found, we will take it from there, securing and transporting it to HQ for further study and usage against the asteroid menace. Good luck, Major, and let there be Atom.
Yeah, like I said, those movies tend to break a lot.
You're sitting in a small clearing in front of a blazing campfire. The autumn forest surrounds you, and it creaks peacefully in the dead of night. The air hangs heavy with the promise of snow and the beginning of winter. The fire crackles softly with the branches that you feed it, enchanted by the darting, dancing flames. Crackling wood and the hiss of boiling sap are the only sounds in your tiny campsite. With a sigh, you stretch your back and gaze over at your surprised guest. He's a short fellow, hunchbacked and raggedly dressed. He emerged from the tall trees about an hour ago and asked if he could warm his bones by the fire. Surprisingly, you disregarded your hard-earned knowledge of the wastes and agreed. Now he's sitting on the opposite side of the fire, his face hidden in the shadows of a hood. His silence is unnerving. You begin to regret allowing the stranger into your camp. Maybe saying something would help ease the tension? You're hoping this weird song will frighten your mysterious companion into exhibiting better manners, or maybe you just felt like singing. The man lifts his head and peers at you. At least you think he does. His face is still obscured by shadows. "Did you come here from afar?" he asks in a surprisingly soothing voice. "As it does to us all." The man is quiet again, but then throws a dry stick into the flames. Sparks fly up like a cloud of fireflies into the cold heavens as he asks, "Did you hear what happened in Krasnoznamenny? It's a city to the west of here." You feel a strange urge to tell him the truth. Who knows why? Perhaps telling someone about your adventures will make them more real. Maybe even grant them some kind of meaning.
So as you can see, Atom RPG is kind of like weirdly important. In my game, as you saw, actually, well, I joined the mycelium and Well, I guess Atom didn't take control of the city because in the cutscene after you exited, it shows that after poisoning and using other types of warfare, you actually gained control of the Krasnoznamenny city. So mycelium had Krasnoznamenny. I don't know why it says like this, but...
Good old Adam. Guess those army boys got tired of riding in the backseat. Stranger adjusts his hood and sinks down into his tattered clothing. Say, you know what happened to that old Bruiser Dan? Leader of the factory gang? Sad to hear that. Seems like the fate of Atradnoye, that sweet little village is sealed. The man shivers slightly. Silence reigns again for a while until a wolf's howl in the distance causes you to look around frantically. Danger lurks in every corner of the wastes, and it pays to be cautious. Why then did you so calmly choose to share your campfire with this odd fellow, a man you know nothing about? As if on cue, the stranger speaks again. And what happened in the trading hub? Paragon, do you know? Glad to hear not all is lost in that corner of the wastes. The man stretches his arms up as if to pluck a low-hanging star. Tell me, who did you share your travels with back then? I know it's kind of a personal question, but indulge me. Once known as Trudograd. Yeah, I've heard of him. Anyone else? The man nods and again gazes down into the fire. You take a drink from your water flask and hold it out to share. He shakes his head no. 5 hard minutes of silence follow until you've had your fill of waiting and guessing. You lean forward, focus exactly on the darkness within the man's cowl, and in a stern voice, ask. Over the years, people have given me many different names, your guest states without emotion. But isn't it true that names, like other words, have no intrinsic meaning? Words are senseless, unless living people recall them and give them purpose. Thus, when we meet again, I will once more become nameless. Of its own accord, your companion's hood slides limply away. But its absence reveals not a human head, but a glowing, undulating sphere of crimson fire. A deadly star. You yelp aloud, for a moment willing yourself to run, but already the night has vanished, dissolved in the haunting red glow. Never again shall you be able to hide from the invisible gaze of your nightmarish guest. That gaze is cruel and indifferent, and the lands it oversees are barren, burnt down to nothing but ashes and splinters of stone. You are so entranced by the endless landscape of utter obliteration that at first you do not notice how your own body has started burning. You are ablaze on the inside, like a bunch of cinders twisted into human form. And the wild, frigid winds scatter your ashes across the surface of the dead earth.
Ah. But he had a better Okay, let's play a little bit. The veteran pack. Well, I don't know. I guess if you bought the game in early access, this will be available to you. No. Let's play. So let me show you your stat. I mean, you will not get a lot of combat in the beginning, so might as well make a character that can actually speak and solve quests. And also gain money. We need to gain a lot of money. Press tab to center again on your character. And this is where you get the supporter pack for buying the game in early access. Weirdly enough, you have the supporter pack, you have the whatever pack, and you also have another pack. I guess it's weird that they kind of gave that. Oh, and this is why you should have a Zulbar in the final location. I really hope these are his puppies. I really hope he became a father in real life as well. They're so cute. I love the puppies. I love Zulbar. Zulbar is the best dog almost. Almost as good as dog meat. And yeah, if you... I don't want to think about anything. Just take Zulbar with you in the final room. Makarov 60, requirement in pistols and SMG. Minus chance % weight with no aiming, but you'll hit better with aim shots. And it also increased the requirement to 45. Well, I mean, it will increase the requirement by 15 points. I don't know about that strength thing. Let's read that. Room key. And also the Atom Veteran Medal. 2 skill points per level plus 1 personality. Our personality will be so good. And this will doesn't have as much speechcraft, but it has more call resistance. Sige, and also you'll get the SKS. Yeah, they're not so good in combat, but actually pretty good for what we are going to do. No, so that uniform, 3 skill points per level. I'm not sure how this will translate to our skill points, because technically we are getting so much skill points per level, it's insane. Now, let me show you how you look with the uniform on. Nice, isn't it? And then the Atom Veteran Medal, plus 1 personality. So personality will be 7, in dialogue it will be 8. So we have cold, poisoning, and also hunger like usual. Weapon modification, the compensator will be installed over there. The weapon still looks the same, but it has that small pip over there. We can also put that on our Fernie armor. Sequence 13. And remember to put on your backpack. Total weight will be 83 kilograms. As for the hats, well, let's just put the normal army hat. The officer one will look just a little bit darker, so it's mostly the same thing. Thermos, you can put a thermos over here. Currently it's empty. I think we can have alcohol or tea or some other stuff in it. As you can see, the game looks so much better than Atom RPG. And the compensator actually shows on the SKS. So this is the Atom RPG veteran build. See you next episode, bye!